So dear students, here we will discuss post-fertilization. So let me have a very quick recapitulation that already we have finished the process of pre-fertilization and fertilization. In pre-fertilization period, there is the formation of gametes, right? Then the gametes are transferred. That means the male gamete are transferred to the female gametes, or in few organisms, both male and female gametes are moved towards each other. And then the fertilization, where the male gametes and female gametes fuse to form zygote, right? So now the zygote undergoes some developmental process for the production of the organism or for the production of the offspring. So this part of the reproduction, that is the development of zygote to the offspring, is known as post-fertilization, right? So here you see events in sexual reproduction after the formation of zygote. Remember, after the formation of zygote are called post-fertilization. So here you remember, before starting the how zygote develops to the offspring, remember zygote is the vital link between the parental generation and the offspring generation, or it is the continuity, it is the link for the continuity of the species between or from one generation to the next generation. So let me explain how zygote is the vital link, or you also can say zygote is the structure which is present in both parent's organism and offspring, right? So how? Let me explain it. So here you see this two picture. So in this picture you see the fertilized egg, that means this is the zygote, right? So this zygote develops to the fetus, and this fetus develops and take birth as a baby. So this zygote is the part of the offspring, as zygote develops to fetus, fetus to baby. So offspring, this is offspring. So offspring, the first cell, the first structure of the offspring is what? The fertilized egg, or that is the zygote. And where this zygote is produced? Inside the parent body, inside the mother body. So that is the part of mother body. So which is the vital link between two generations? The zygote is the part of mother body. Zygote is also part of the baby. So zygote is the vital link. Zygote is the structure which present both parent and offspring. Here you see the reproduce, the male and female, they undergoes the process of reproduction. So they produces the zygote. So zygote develops to baby. So here which structure links between this and this? The zygote links between this and this. I think now you well understood how zygote is the vital link. Remember, it is very important for the purpose of multiple choice question as well as your very short answer questions. Then every sexually reproducing organism begin life as a single cell, that is the zygote. This is also important for multiple choice question. So each and every organism start their life from where? From that single cell structure. Here you have already seen. This single cell structure develops to the organism, develops to the whole organism. So every organism is developed from what? The zygote. So universally, every sexually reproducing organism develops from the zygote. So this point also you underline. Clear? Then move to the next. Now, what happens to the zygote for the development of organism, or what are the process the zygote undergoes? So the development or the process the zygote undergoes depends on two factors. One is, here you see, the type of life cycle of the organism. How the zygote will behave or what is the fate of zygote depends on the type of the life cycle of the organism. Second, it depends upon the environment it is exposed to. In which environment the organism is present, depending on that, the development of zygote takes place. Clear? Let me elaborate this. You know, the life cycle are of three different types: haplontic life cycle, diplontic life cycle, and haplodiplontic life cycle. Just let us have a quick recapitulation. This portion we have covered in 11th standard. Right? So here you see in haplontic life cycle, the parent body is always haploid, known as gametophyte. So as the parent body is haploid, this undergoes gametogenesis by mitosis. Then there is the fusion or syngamy, that is the fertilization, and the product is zygote. So here you see, already I have told you, zygote is always diploid. Here also zygote diploid, though the parent organism is haploid. So now this zygote cannot directly develop to the gametophyte. So what is the fate of zygote here? The fate of zygote here is it undergoes meiosis, right? So during post-fertilization period in haplontic life cycle, zygote undergoes meiosis to produce spores which develops to gametophyte or the plant body, the offspring. Clear? Similarly, come to diplontic life cycle. In diplontic life cycle, the main plant body, the parental organism is sporophyte, right? So, being it is diploid, when it undergoes gametogenesis for the process of sexual reproduction, it undergoes meiosis and produces male and female gamete. So, when it produces male and female gamete and they fertilize, right, there is the formation of zygote. So, zygote is diploid. Parent cell haploid, zygote is diploid. Parent cell diploid, zygote is also diploid. So, zygote is always diploid. Now, what is the fate of this zygote? So, the fate of zygote is it undergoes repeated mitotic division so that it can produce the organism. Right? So, in diplontic life cycle, zygote undergoes repeated mitotic division for the development of embryo which develops to sporophyte or the main plant body or the offspring. Right? So, what is the fate of zygote in diplontic life cycle? It undergoes mitosis. Then coming to haplodiplontic life cycle. So, in haplodiplontic life cycle, what happens to the zygote? So, it depends upon the organism. How? So, you know, there are two groups of plant where you find haplodiplontic life cycle. One is bryophyte, another one is pteridophyte. Bryophyte, the main plant body is a gametophyte. So, as the main plant body is gametophyte, so zygote need to undergo mitosis to form sporophyte, which undergoes meiosis to produce the spores that develops the gametophyte. Right? So, in bryophyte, zygote undergoes repeated mitotic division to form sporophyte, which produces spores by meiosis to produce the main gametophyte. Right? Whereas, in case of pteridophyte, right? In case of pteridophyte, after the fertilization of the zygote undergoes repeated mitotic division, right, to produce the sporophyte, which is the main plant body, so which is the offspring. So, what is the fate of zygote in haplodiploidic? Here also immediately zygote undergoes mitosis. Clear? So this is about the type of development in zygote depending on the life cycle. Here also I have mentioned in haplontic zygote undergoes meiosis, in diplontic it undergoes mitosis. Clear? Then coming to how it depends upon the environment it is exposed to. So here you see, this is the example of an algae. So what happens, already I have told you and also I have explained. In case of algae and fungi, during favorable conditions, they undergoes asexual reproduction. But when the environment is unfavorable, unsuitable for their growth and development, they undergo sexual reproduction. Why? So here you see fertilization, fusion of two gametes, the formation of zygote. So being the environment is not suitable for their growth, what happens? Zygote withdraws all its structure, slow down its metabolic activity and gets covered by a protective structure. And here it remains dormant during the period of unfavorability. When the favorable condition arises, this germinates to a new individual. Right? So that means what? In sexual reproduction, it has the ability to overcome the adversity. So whenever algae and fungi are exposed to unfavorable conditions like desiccations, like drying, they switch over to the zygote, they switch over to the sexual reproduction, and during this the zygote form develops a thick wall to resist the desiccation and damage, and by that means they overcome the condition. Clear? Then in case of diploid organism like animal or like plants, higher plants, zygote develops into embryo in the process of embryogenesis. So the next part of post-fertilization is, or the next event of post-fertilization is embryogenesis. So during embryogenesis, zygote undergoes two processes. First is repeated mitotic division to increase the number of cells. Second, it undergoes differentiation. So what these two processes we will discuss in detail in another presentation.